Hi guys, welcome to Bhroman Braapsody. This is where we review cars and motorcycles. I am the host for cars and the Mini does the motorcycles. In today's episode, we have a 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. We're gonna look around the car, see some of its features, take it out on the road, share my thoughts with you guys, talk about the cost of ownership, and assign it a Bhroman score. So don't go anywhere. It's me, it's your boy Bro, and I am your Bhroman. So starting off from the front of the car, it's got the LED light package. So you have LED turn signals and running lights. You have the LED headlamps, LED fog lamps. It's got that bumper with those two red tow hooks and the usual Jeep grille. That looks so cool. That looks really cool. And if you look closer at the grille, it also has that front facing camera here. This looks so neat. And once you come to the side, it has the Rubicon badging there, the Rubicon sticker, and it says it's trail rated 4x4 and it's a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. It sits on a 17-inch wheel, but it has the 33 tires. These are your knobby off-road tires. You can take it off-road and have some fun with it. So it's got the Jeep, all the Rubicons have the Jeep sticker on the wheels. Now if you wanted to pop open the hood, it's pretty simple. You don't have a lever inside. You have to undo the hitches on either side. Once you release the levers on both sides, there's a locking mechanism here. The release mechanism, just push it and this would open up. You can push the hood all the way back. How cool is that? And under the hood, we have the 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 that Jeep produces, and that produces a decent amount of power. I think it does 270 horsepower and about 290 foot-pound of torque. So that's a decent amount of power. This is the key for the Rubicon. It looks nice. It has the Jeep emblem on the back, and you have your buttons for unlock, lock, remote start, and the panic button. And it also has this old school key, and you can use this to lock or unlock your vehicle or even the glove box. As long as you have the key fob on you, there's a little button on this door handle. If you press it, that locks the car. And to unlock the car, just walk up to it, take your hand and put it here. That unlocks it. So let's talk about the door. The driver's side door is pretty simple and pretty basic. You have your side mirror adjustments here, the unlock button here, and this is the latch you'd use to open the door, but nothing else on this. And you have a little storage space down here, but other than that, there's not much on the door. Why, you ask? Well, that's because you have to they wanted to keep the door light and simple, because you can remove these doors and drive along. So they're keeping the doors light, and there's not much wiring and stuff that's going on here. There are no speakers or window controls and things like that, and you can easily remove this and drive along. As for the second row seating and the doors are pretty much the same. These doors are removable as well, so you don't have a lot of things on the doors. You do get the red contrast stitching here, a little storage space here, and that's about it. On the back, you have a full-size spare tire, and that's mounted outside. You have LED tail lights, and you also get a little tow hook at the bottom. And they put the rear view camera at a really, really cool place. They've integrated the rear view camera within the spare tire mount. So if you look closely, this is your rear view camera. They didn't put it elsewhere. They integrated it within the design. That's very cool, and that's very neat. To access the cargo space, this thing opens up in two parts. So the first part is this tailgate section down below, and just like the doors, this has that button. So you can use this button to lock the car, and as long as you have the key on you, just place your hand there and it should unlock it. this swings open outwards, so you have a little more space. This swings open outward, and then all you gotta do is lift the glass piece up, and then once that gives you access to your cargo space. This is not a huge cargo space, but this is pretty decent. The rear seats do fold down. They don't fold down all the way, but they fold down and give you a little more space to put stuff in. Now if you look closer, you can see it has the roll bars and the roll cage installed already, and that's because you can remove the hardtop. You can remove the hardtop and it'll become an open Jeep. I like to call them the open air Jeeps. Back in the cargo area, you have your subwoofer, and on the other side you have a 12-volt power outlet. Underneath the mat in the trunk, if you lift it up, there's some more storage space. And if you look down here, that's where you put the bolts for the roof and the doors when you put them off. And if you lift it up, there you have your jack. And here's another cool little thing. You have this little panel here which gives you the wheelbase and the length of the vehicles, with the 2-door and the 4-door, and it also tells you how much, like if you're going through water, the water fording, what should your speed be. If it's at 30 inches, go at 5 miles per hour. This is your track length and overall width. That's cool. And it also tells you it's developed in Michigan and built in Ohio. As you can see, the taillight kind of sticks out. Well, that's functional because this is where you have the sensors for your blind spot detection. I really like the flared out fenders. It kind of completes the look for the Jeep because it has this big tires, and without those fenders, the flared out fenders, it would just look weird. And on the side, it has protection. It has the side protection for rocks and stuff. So if you're going rock crawling or off-roading, this protects the body of the car. So I'm in the second row seats, and this is nice. I am 5'10", and I have a decent amount of leg room here. These have the leather seats, of course, but they also have the red contrast stitching. There's a pretty decent and comfortable seat. For your middle seat, you can pull it down, and the center seat folds down to be an armrest and 2 cup holders. In the center, you have the 2 vents for airflow. You have the window controls. If you look further down below, where it says that it has those 2 charging stations, lift it up, and you have two Type-C USB chargers and 2 Type-A's. And then you also get a 3-pin power outlet back here. As for my headroom, I have plenty of headroom. Remember, since these doors can be removed, they have to be light and they couldn't have too much wiring and electrical stuff going in there. So they put the speakers on the roll cage here, so you can remove the top, but you can still have your speakers and listen to music. I like it. It's pretty cool, huh? Once you look inside, this is beautiful. You have the red insert here. This is like the ruby red matte finish to it. It has the red stitching on it, and it looks and feels very premium, and it looks quite spacious in here as well. As for the seats, these are all manual seats, so you can move the seats back and forth, but there's a lever in the front. And the seats say it's a Rubicon, so just in case you were confused, you didn't know what kind of Jeep you were walking into, it's a Rubicon. This also has the red contrast stitching. Looks very nice. So you have the buttons for your headlights here, and then you can use these to adjust the brightness of the display or the interior cabin lighting. And then we have your steering wheel. This is not a huge steering wheel. This is a pretty compact steering wheel with the Jeep logo here. You have buttons to go through the menu options that you would see here, and then you have your phone controls, and on your left you have your cruise controls. You have a little blank space here. I'm assuming this is where you would have the controls for adaptive cruise, but this one doesn't have it. And behind the steering wheel on the left hand side, you have the stock for your high beam, low beam, and the turn signals. And on the right, you have your wiper controls for both the front and the back. And if you look behind the steering wheel, it has these like little buttons here. And these are standard on all Chrysler products. It's got those buttons on both sides of the steering wheel. One is to skip tracks and the other one is your volume control. It has this nice little graphic of the Jeep, and it says Rubicon, the Jeep, and there's a Jeep that goes down below. And remember I showed you there are these buttons to toggle through the menu. So look what happens when I toggle through them. So the first one gives me vehicle info, your tire pressures. Go to the next one, you could get your drivetrain info. Then you have your fuel economy and fuel range. Then your trip meter. And you could also go into the screen setup and customize what you want to see on your upper left and upper right corner of your screen, and you know how you want the screen layout to look like. That's pretty neat. On the left hand side you have your tachometer, and on the right hand side you have the speedometer. So let's talk about the Uconnect system. I've always been a big fan of Chrysler's Uconnect. So the seats, you have the driver and passenger heated seats, you have a Wi-Fi hotspot, then you have this off-road pages. This takes a minute to load, but this is very cool. You see that graphic with the Jeep going over those little hills, and you get these options. You have the drive. If you select the drivetrain, it'll tell you what's your steering angle, and the steering angle that changes in real time as I'm turning the steering wheel. You see it's changing. I like it. It's so cool. Then you also have other gauges, and then it'll also tell you about the pitch and roll of the car in real time. There are many other fun features here. So you can activate your backup camera, and you see those lines, and you have the little dotted line, so that's where you'd have your trailer hitch, and these lines again update in real time. So as you move your steering wheel, those move along too. And then if you press this button, this will give you the front camera. And this front camera is cool because those yellow lines, they move as you turn the steering wheel. Those move too. This would be really helpful when you're going off-road and you can't see over the top of your hood. And let's say you're at an incline, like you're going over rocks, but you don't know what's on the other side. So you're looking up into the sky, but you can look into the camera and see what's in front of you. That's so neat. Then you can go into the settings, and once you're in the settings menu, this is a touchscreen, so you can do that. Or if you use this radio tuner knob here and twist it, that'll go down through the settings. So if you don't want to do the touch thingy, you could use this as your scroll bar. Then you have the navigation, and you could also pair your phone. I don't have my phone paired right now, but you could if you wanted to. There's another thing that you could do when you're in the apps menu. If you wanted to change any of these stationary buttons, you could. All you have to do is press and hold, let's say this one, and you can just drag it down to that, and if you drop it there, it'll change. So what you get with the car and Jeeps nowadays is the Uconnect app for your smartphone. When you click on the app, it opens up the home page. You can lock, unlock. You pretty much have the remote for your Jeep, and then you have more info. So if you tap on that info button, it gives you the fuel level, odometer, tire pressure, and then you have the location app or the location tab. When you click on it, you look at you see that little steering wheel icon on the top left corner, and it'll give you your location of your Jeep. So if you're far away from the Jeep, you know where your car is at any given point. And the other cool feature is if you tap on the search button, search box down below, and search for, let's go with coffee, and we select the Starbucks. So we click on the Starbucks, then click on details, and then we say send to the car. This is gonna send the address to your car. Now when you look at it, it says new location, and when you say go, it'll start the navigation. How cool is that? Underneath that, you have your temperature controls. This is I think they call it the select shift, or basically this is what you would use if you're going off-road and you want to maintain a low speed, let's say 4 miles or 5 miles an hour. Going a little further down below, you have a 12-volt power outlet, the cigarette lighter style power outlet, and this is where you have your window controls for all 4 windows. Then you have a little media port here, so type A, type C, and you have your auxiliary cable. And if you go further down below, you can lock your rear differential or front and rear. You can put it in off-road plus mode. You can activate or deactivate the sway bar. And then here on this side where you see all these auxiliary buttons, those are for your auxiliary lights. So if you add auxiliary lights, that's where you can control them with. This is your gear selector, and if you look on the top, it's got the little Jeep logo there. I love it. And it also has a red trigger here. So you press that, you put your foot on the brake, you pull that, and then you can shift through gears. And to the left of the main gear selector, you have your 4x4 selector. So you could have it in 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, neutral, and 4 low. You have 2 cup holders here. They're pretty decent sized. They're not huge. And as for the parking brake, you have the old school handbrake. I love this. I haven't seen this in such a long time. You just pull that up. That's your parking brake. So now let's talk about the center armrest and the center console. So there are 2 openings to it. There's one up here. So when you press that, you get this like little storage space. You can put in a phone or maybe a couple of other things here. Shut that down. And if you go down below, there's another latch. Pull that and you get the bigger storage space. And you also have a USB power outlet in here. Well, now that we've looked around the car, seen some of its features, do you know what time it is? It's time for some throttle therapy. So let's go. All right, so let's get started, shall we? So this is the view of the cockpit. Yep, this is not the quickest off the block, but hey, this is not meant to do crazy speeds. This is meant to go off-road and stuff, so that was expected. The visibility out of this thing is awesome. You are sitting up high, like really high up, so visibility is not at all an issue. The steering is a little vague, not gonna lie. It feels a little vague, and it also has these big off-road tires, so I think that doesn't help with the handling of it either. There is a little bit there's a little bit of road noise that I can get through the car, and again, a lot of that has to do with those big knobby off-road tires. They're not meant for they're not the best for pavement use. But that being said, the ride is quite comfortable. I'm sitting quite high up in the car, so it's not a bad seating position. It feels quite nice. It eats up these bumps on the road quite nicely. Now this is a boxy car and this is quite tall, so of course it feels a little wobbly at times, but it's not bad. Like I test drove a Jeep years ago and that one felt super wobbly. This is not nearly as bad. This feels like you're driving a pickup truck, but a small pickup truck. The thing about driving a Jeep is that there is the coolness factor. You just feel so cool and so badass driving a Jeep. You can seat 4 adults in this car quite comfortably, and it has a decent amount of space for your grocery runs, liquor store runs, running errands, and all of that stuff. So you could use this for your for running errands and normal household activities. It's got decent amount of space to get stuff as well. It can tow up to 3,500 pounds, so that's a decent amount of towing as well. Now, could you use this car for long road trips? I mean, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you get like a different set of tires or something like that. So I was driving this a little earlier on the highway, and there is so much wind noise and road noise that you get. It was pretty loud, both the wind noise and the road noise. So it's this is not gonna be a good car for long road trips. I mean, I guess you still could. People do it all the time. But this car is meant to do one thing very good, and that's going off-road where the pavement ends and taking on the unpaved roads. But yeah, I mean, in normal city driving or running around to do your errands and stuff, yeah, this is gonna be comfy, and you can do that. But on long drives, especially driving on the highway, I don't think this is the car for that. Can this be your family car? Yeah, absolutely. This is a mid-size SUV, and it's got enough space. You can put car seats in the back seats. You could fit 4 adults, so 2 adults in the back seat, or 3 kids in the back seat. So I'm gonna keep on driving this car. Why don't you guys head back to the Mini and wrap up this video? I think you forgot to talk about the warranty. So Jeep offers a 3-year 36,000 mile limited bumper to bumper warranty and a 5-year 60,000 miles powertrain warranty. But in addition to those, Jeep also offers a 3 years complimentary service warranty. So it covers all of your basic services, oil change, tire rotation, and things like that. So for the first 3 years, all of your basic maintenance is covered. This is the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Man, the Wrangler is a legend when it comes to taking it off-road. And it's a legend in just looking so dang cool. Even with its boxy design and all of that, it looks so cool and so rugged. Now, this car is built to do rugged stuff, to take it off-road, to take it to places where the paved trail ends. In spite of its off-road prowess, it still has a lot of creature comforts that you can use for daily driving and commuting and using it as a family hauler. And the Chrysler products these days have stepped up their game big time. The interior finish is awesome. I love the Uconnect screen and all the features within it. So it is a rugged machine. It's a rugged off-road machine which you can still daily drive, and it has tons of features. It's very spacious. You can sit 4 adults very comfortably in it. It has a decent amount of cargo room, and it can tow about 3,500 pounds. Is the Jeep the car for you? Well, go to your closest Jeep dealer and take this out for a test ride and see how you like it. Let's assign it a score. On the looks, it's a 9 out of 10. On the Brap, it's a 4 out of 10. On the maintenance, it's a 9 out of 10. And on the usability, it's an 8 out of 10. For a combined Bhroman score of 7.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Bro out.